What a play after play after play.
And he's got a lot of room to run, and she is taking over.
Drones, that's the greatest conference in the country is showing out tonight, gentlemen. I cannot believe it. That is the greatest high school football game.
Thank you so much for being with us on a Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is the WCAC Spectacular. He's Tim Strachan.
Man, I can't wait for tonight. I know we got some news and things to get out of the way, but the discussion we're going to have with Carroll Holmes tonight is going to be great. Something I've been looking forward to for a long time because of the memories it brings back when I used to play against those great Carroll teams in the 90s.
He's Kevin Ricca.
We have a Mount Rushmore figure on the show tonight. There's no doubt about it. Washington, D.C. is known for its hoops. The WCAC is the premier league in our nation's capital. And we've got a guy tonight that's been on all sides of the coin.
As the kids say today. Yes.
We almost didn't, though, guys, but just like Coach Holmes says, it's hard but fair.
It's hard but fair. It's hard but fair on a Tuesday by Tuesday basis. We make our way through the coverage of this amazing league, and we learn that lesson every single week, and I love it. Humility reigns supreme throughout our entire company, as well it should. And let's get started the way we really like to do on a Tuesday night, a little segment we call Around the League, brought to you by Lido Pizza, starting out in Arlington, Virginia.
We're so excited to have fall sports back at O'Connell, even though it's a condensed season. It allows kids to have the great teamwork, camaraderie, and socialization, as well as athletic excellence that they get from sports. And we're hoping to have spring sports to follow. Just an exciting time to be a Knight.
Athletic Director Joe Wooten, Play Like a Champion Coach of the Week. Congrats to everyone out there in Virginia getting back in action. We're praying everything goes well. How about out in Baltimore, Maryland? Gonzaga alum Jack Myers with his third goal of the day and a huge win for Ohio State over Johns Hopkins. Casey O'Neill, proud moment.
It's fun
for the
to see
Blondie down in I Street. Over in Smithfield, Rhode Island, sticking with on the men's college lacrosse field, former PVI Panther Luke Caracciola totaled 16 saves, including 10 in the second quarter. Bryant's win over Providence, good enough to make U.S. International Lacrosse Association's Team of the Week. Way to go, Luke. Over in Chantilly, man who needs no introduction on our air, Trevor Keels, not the only Panther putting up big numbers these days as he stacks up 1,800 points, 600 rebounds, 400 assists, and 115 steals.
What?
And picked up a Kentucky offer all this week.
Yeah, he's having a good week. He looks great. He's fun to cover, and he's got, I think we can all agree, a hell of a future on the hardwood. Over in Leesburg, Virginia, Loudoun United signs a former DeMatha goalkeeper Keegan Meyer. Nice for old friends to be able to make the short trip out to Seager Field. Also the new home of DC's Old Glory Pro Rugby team. Be seeing a lot of us, hopefully, out that way. Good job, Keegan. I'll tell you what, we got some more committed athletes, VMI bound. Carroll track star Julianne Cherry. Lions dominating the DC boys track scene with 10 top-ranked athletes out of 18 categories. Look at them going on down the line. I can't tell you how proud we all are of our track athletes. And Carroll has an amazing track program. And if we ever get a spring season, we'll be able to show you some of it. How about some football signings here in DC? Carroll Lions taking the success over on Gridiron with recent signees. There's Obi Degwu going to Temple. The Fears going to Marset. LaFon. How about a Navy-bound player?
Rob Harris looks like he can go somewhere right now, too.
I'll tell you, Rob Harris still looks good. He still looks like he can get it done, and actually we know he can. Also Dixon over at East Stroudsburg University. Congratulations to all the young men and women on their way to get that free education, thanks to the hard work they put in the WCAC. The Around the League brought to you by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza is square because they do not cut corners, and thank God, because we need every crumble of Lido Pizza in these bellies. We appreciate.
Delicious. I can't wait. We're gonna get
Oh, this
Lido
table's going to have some Lido
displayed
Pizza
here,
on
I
it very
think,
soon.
here soon.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate
That
you,
could be
Will.
dangerous, man.
There's a lot of Lido talking with hands over here.
I know. My mouth is watering. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm excited about this segment coming up. And, again, you talk about a Mount Rushmore guest, and we've had so many of them. The Mount Rushmore of the WCAC is not just for people. It is a never-ending mountain range. It's the Rockies of amazing folks who've not just performed as an athlete in the league, but they've also dedicated their lives as teachers and coaches to making kids just flat out better, Kevin.
And the future of the league. You know, we're entrusting the future of the league 25, 35 years ago to men like this who are still here now to tell us a little bit more about how we can keep on going as 45-year-olds and what these young guys need to do to get there.
And I tell you what, when you see some of the pictures we have lined up, I hope you enjoy the juxtaposition of those old pictures with all of us here in this room tonight trying to figure out how to make this show happen, and we couldn't do it without you. Carroll Holmes, welcome to the show, sir.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me on. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you got it, man. Absolutely. And you bring two traditions together here, and a lot of people it's got to be the name. Carroll, they think Carroll, but it ain't just Carroll. We said before the show, you actually come from the same place as this young man here. I don't know if you want to claim that or not.
I came from the same place.
That's true. That's
school.
absolutely true.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I'm a proud graduate of DeMatha Catholic High School. Graduated in 1973. Played for the legendary Morgan Wooten. Had a great time at DeMatha. Also played football at DeMatha. Played for Jerry Franks there. Played with some outstanding young men. So it's a great time at DeMatha.
Where did you play in football? Now that's news to me. I didn't know that. What was your position?
Well, I played my senior year. I quit my first 2 years. I played fullback and I played linebacker. I was number 32. And I had a great time playing football. I had many football offers, but I chose basketball because I hadn't played football long. But I loved football because it was an aggressive sport. It was physical. And I played 2 years. What a picture. What a picture.
That's a good-looking picture, Coach.
Awesome. We got some good ones on the way too, Kev.
I love hearing the coach was a two-sport guy. This is something I hadn't heard before either, but, multi-threat as a player and a coach. And now you're talking about football offers. I mean, Coach, you were a 6'3" fullback. That's way ahead of your time. I know you played like a football player in the basketball court, but fullback, I don't think I want that ISO. I don't think I want that smoke.
It was fun. It was fun. If had I known more about football, I probably would have stayed with it. I had some fantastic offers to play football in college, but I just felt I didn't know enough about the game to play football. But to be honest with you, I played baseball also. I was a catcher. Once I got to DeMatha, I stopped playing baseball. But, I played baseball as a youth, 12 to at least 15 years old. So we did it all.
Well, I have a question for you then with your experience as a multi-sport player, but also a coach. We talk all the time on the show about and sort of lament the fact that kids are become so specialized these days that you don't have your dual athlete or triple athlete in your case. How can we get that back, and how do we make that important to kids again today?
That's a good question, because one thing I always told my kids at Carroll, don't specialize. I had many kids who played multiple sports. I just think you increase your options for scholarships if you're playing multiple sports. And then a lot of times what I try to do is keep my best athletes on the field, on the court. So we encourage those young people to play more than one sport. And I enjoyed it because it kept you in shape and kept you busy.
I can't believe Morgan Wooten let you play fullback, by the way. I don't know any coach of the WCAC. Now, they do encourage multiple sport athletes, but not many of them are encouraging their star basketball players to play fullback or linebacker, really, for that matter. So that's amazing.
Well, Kenny Roy played on that team. He was a running back.
Oh, yeah.
He was.
And Kenny was a starting point guard. So an agent played football also. He didn't play a senior year, but agent played football for 3 years at the Mount. He was a big old defensive end. So Morgan encouraged us to play multiple sports, and I'm glad he did.
That's fantastic. I love it, Coach. I want to get into a little bit, as you mentioned, Morgan, to your coaching style. You know, what type of coach you became, and I know you did play for the legendary Morgan Wooten, and you can get into that yourself. But as a college basketball player, I noticed that you played road games against head coaches Jerry Tarkanian at UNLV, Lute Olson at Long Beach State, Lou Carnesecca at St. John's, and Jim Boeheim at Syracuse. Please talk to me about that first name we mentioned, you know, the number one of all, and those four guys, and just people that modeled your career as a coach.
Well, let me say this. Morgan Wooten, I was happy to play for Coach Wooten. Coach Wooten taught us a lot about the game of life, and that was the most important thing. He talked to us about being dedicated, having self-discipline. He talked to us about being committed, not just to basketball, but things in life. You know, I was fortunate to have some great models, role models, or mentors. People like Ollie Dunlap, people like Gartrell Franklin, Harold Plummer, and of course, Coach Wooten. So I was fortunate to have some great people in my life to help guide me. Morgan taught me everything I know about basketball. I tried to pattern Carroll High School basketball like a DeMatha team, so to speak, because everything I learned from Coach Wooten, and we were winners in high school, so it was quite natural to take that over to Carroll High School and try to build. I was fortunate to coach under Jack Bruin. Jack Bruin was the coach at Carroll High School when I came aboard. I was a JV coach. Jack Bruin, my senior year in high school was his first year at the Mount. He was an assistant coach. He had just come from Catholic University, and he was the assistant coach at the Mount in my senior year. And so when the Carroll job opened, I called Jack Bruin, and Jack Bruin told me to come aboard. And so I was fortunate enough to work with Coach Bruin. Now, I got my mannerisms from Coach Bruin. Coach Wooten. Now, you know, Coach Wooten was mild-mannered, wouldn't holler and scream. But I think I took my mannerism, my coaching style from Jack Bruin.
Well, that's amazing. The amazing, legendary Jack Bruin, as a CUA alum, I've heard hundreds and hundreds of stories. I know all about Jack Bruin, but we're sitting here talking about Coach Carroll Holmes and his coaching style, and I have a follow-up to your coaching style, and it's about your coaching style. Coach, when we showed up to a game, Coach Carroll Holmes was debonair. It was like Lou Rawls was in the background, and you were teaching us all how to wear a suit. So let me ask you this, Coach. Why so fresh?
Well, I put it this way. Coach Wooten instilled in us to wear sport coats and ties to the games, and it was just a professional look. You see, that's why we wore suits and ties to the game. But as my career expanded, I stopped wearing suits because I didn't want to sweat out my suits anymore. You see, once I started coaching girls at Friendly, I didn't wear suits anymore. I just wore sweaters. But Coach Wooten instilled that in us to dress for success. We try to instill that in our young people. So that's why we wore the suits.
Well, he succeeded with you, and you succeeded more than others, from what I noticed.
There's wearing a suit, and then there's wearing a suit.
Yeah, that's a
There's
fact.
two different things altogether. I mean, a lot of people can put on a suit and tie, but not a lot of people can make everybody look bad by being the best dressed person after sweating through a suit after 4 quarters or 2 halves.
And Coach, talk about the fact that not only did you play for Coach Wooten, but you got to coach against him. And just with that, because that was my era too. We went up against you guys. We had great battles. They won it in 90. What was it? 91, 93.
We won in 93. Yes.
89 and 93.
Yes. I mean, you got the Carroll program there, and you did it beating Coach Wooten.
Yeah, it was great playing against the coach. I got him a couple times. One of the most memorable moments for me is when my first year I played Coach Wooten. I think it was in 1984 down at Catholic University. We got beat pretty bad. And the next day, the Post had an article in the paper that says, "Teacher teaches pupil the lesson." I thought that was fantastic. I didn't get mad about it because he did teach me a lesson that day. He taught me many lessons, but we were fortunate enough to beat Coach a couple times. We got him in the championship in 1989. We in the semifinals in 1993, and then a couple times at our Hamburg-Cumberland tournament. But it was great to play against Coach. Coach was a fierce competitor. He didn't like to lose, and he beat my brains out a couple times. So it was a great experience to play against Coach and play against the Matthew Catholic High School.
Yeah, Kevin and I were talking about playing against Tony Parham, Kelly Taylor, Marcus Newby. That was our era, and man, St. John's, DeMatha, Carroll. We had some great battles back in the mid '90s, man.
Yeah, that was a great team. That was my '93 championship team. Those kids worked extremely hard, and I was happy for their success because they just got after it in practice every day. We had some wars in practice, and that made us better. But that group you just spoke about, those kids, they like I said, they worked extremely hard, and they wanted to win that championship, and we did. And it was fun. We had a chance to go to Alhambra, and I think we won it that year also. We did win Alhambra that year. So it was a great time.
Well, that was a great team, and I know that Kelly Taylor and Tony Parham certainly made me better. I played against Kelly and Tony all through grade school, and we knocked you guys out in that Trilling tournament. Donald Huff and the legendary Mike Trilling, and then our game plan, that was about it. We had to play a couple more times, and Justin Malloy face-guarded Marquise Newby and frustrated him. That was it. We got our win, and you got your championship, and now we're here talking about it. This is enjoyable.
Well, hey, Coach, I want to do something we like to do with all our guests, especially one as esteemed and well-traveled as yourself. We're going to hit you with some names, maybe a face or two, and we want to get a one or two or three-word reaction. First thing that comes to your mind when we say some of these names, and we maybe show a picture or two. So Kevin's gonna read them off.
Coach, talk to me about Jim Lynam.
Jim Lynam taught me to jump, stop, and pump fake.
Ruben Boomjay.
My mother said he had bedroom eyes. She said that about Big Ruben. She said, "Boy, that boy got bedroom eyes." Ruben was a great student. He was an outstanding student as well as outstanding basketball player.
Lawrence Moten.
Poetry in motion. The one thing a lot of folks don't know about, if you remember George Michael's
Sports Machine
top 22,
yeah.
Moten's senior year, he had top 21 because Moten made it both offensively and defensively. But he only had 21 that year. But Lawrence Moten was a great player, great player.
And his teammate, Marvin Graves.
Oh, awesome. I never forget, we were playing in Cumberland. We were playing against a team, Jimmy Soto's team. I forgot what the name of the team was that right now. But we were losing, and we called a timeout. And Marvin, after I spoke, Marvin spoke. He took that water bottle and threw it on the floor and busted wide open. We went on a run, that the paper said it was the greatest win in ACIT history.
Wow.
But Marvin was also a three-sport athlete.
Yep.
Yeah, those are two of our heroes that we just talked about. How about Kenny Carr before our last one?
We used to call him Gus Johnson. Well, if you could have seen the battles with him and Adrian Dantley my senior year, but we called Kenny Carr Gus Johnson because he had that bad knee, and he used to dunk real fiercely. But Kenny Carr was a great player, great player.
And let's wind up with Adrian Dantley.
Adrian Dantley always said that Adrian Dantley earned his money in the NBA. He was one of the toughest players in the NBA. Adrian Dantley was fundamentally sound. And he's a great friend, but he was an outstanding player.
What did he say? He was on our show, Coach. What did he say he would average today?
Oh, he said he'd get 30, 35 points a game, easy.
There's no question about it. Adrian was so fundamentally sound. See, Adrian beat you. He didn't beat you with his body. He beat you with his mind. And I just thought he had a fantastic career, and he's a true Hall of Famer.
I enjoyed, real quick, Coach, the fact that you took over the Friendly Girls program.
Yeah.
And that this article was great because you said you didn't quite know how you were going to approach coaching the girls, and one of your good friends says, treat them like the guys. And you treated them like the guys.
Yeah,
it was tough at first, but to see these young women talk about how they grew, not as just basketball players, but grew in their young womanhood and becoming women, and really appreciated what you brought to that program.
That was a great experience. That was a great experience coaching girls, and I always wanted to know how to coach them. But Walter Clark, I spoke with him. He was the Duval's coach, and I asked him. I said, "Coach, what do I do?" He said, "I can't tell you how to coach." He said, "You know how to coach." He said, "Coach them the same way you coach the boys." And that's exactly what I did. I coached them very hard. And the thing about it, those young ladies wanted to be coached hard. And we were fortunate enough after 4 years to go to we were in the Final Four. We made it all the way to the semifinals, and we lost in the semifinals. But that was a great time. It was a great experience for me. It was a wonderful experience for those young ladies, one that I always will remember.
Well, we got a lot of love for you on the board tonight, Coach. I know Archbishop Carroll High School is strong on our board. We did get I know you'll probably know this, a listen son quote. Is that something you might have said once or a billion times?
Listen, I'm surprised they didn't say get in the shower, son. Took physical education, and I always say, did you take a shower, son? And, I'm surprised they didn't say do me a favor, because I always would say do me a favor, son. But my experience at Carroll High School was a wonderful experience. I am grateful for the opportunity to play just a small part in the lives of those young people, not only the athletes, but the many students that were there. Look at that picture of me and Stanford Levine. That's the guy. He did my knee operation, that guy did.
He did a lot of them.
Yeah. So, that's a young picture of Carroll Holmes with that big old bow tie on.
Yeah, still doing that suit thing, Coach.
Hey, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for hanging with us, persevering through some difficulties we all worked our way through at the top of the show. I know everyone on the board. There's a lot of green and gold on the board tonight. I know they all stuck around and made it fun for you and for us. And so, thanks for your time. Thanks for being with us. Don't be a stranger. There was nothing better than seeing you at the WCAC tournament. That will happen again someday. We know it will, and we'll be there. And I hope you will make your way to the broadcast booth and look us up when you get there. But don't stand too close to me because you're going to look good. You can make me look bad.
Well, thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it. You guys having me on. You're doing a very fine job. I was fortunate enough to coach against two of you guys and watch you grow. So thanks again for having me.
You got it, Coach. Appreciate you. Best of luck. And that was Carroll Holmes. Just an absolute legend. He
Yes.
commands the respect because he's put in the time, and people understand he's invested in people's lives. And
that's the best part.
Exactly.
It's not about the numbers or the ball going to the rim. It's what he's done to the youth of Carroll High School and Washington D.C. and
the whole,
us.
and the whole
Talk
community.
about watching us grow.
And how about he
What a
answered
guy.
most questions with, I was blessed, or I had so much fun. I just loved it, and I was so thankful for it all. That's all I talked about.
I hope
and
you can go
that's
back.
why people spend that much time with that kind of career. And
Check
have
out the
success
board.
that they do.
Check out the boards. I hope Coach has a chance to go back and watch the show. It's just full of Carroll folks, and I know he's going to know a lot of these names.
I did the goatee in honor of Coach because
You look
I
good.
always remember him with the goatee. I had to.
We had some pictures of him with the
Gonna
goatee.
go with it.
Just don't wear a bow-tied suit because you ain't going to.
Oh no, I don't wear it as well as he does.
There you
It's
go.
not even close.
I wanna see
Not
it,
even
though,
close.
T.
I
I
try
wanna
my
see it.
best to be like people like him, for sure.
We are also very excited because we have an awesome segment tonight. Our WCAC in the community absolutely puts a spotlight on an amazing program over at Seton, and we appreciate all the good stuff that they got going on. And without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Megan O'Keefe.
What's up, guys? Megan O'Keefe here, back with another episode of WCAC in the community. And this week, I am so excited to share the story of 3 incredible women from Elizabeth Seton High School. Grace Brigham, Hawa Berry, and Kendall Jackson are seniors at Seton and are highly involved in serving their community.
The things that I'm mainly involved in are Vincentian Service Club, the Black Student Union, and I work in the Seton Speaks group that focuses on issues in the Black community.
Step Team, Girl Up, and Vincentian Service Club. Girl Up is a club where we kind of educate the girls about different gender issues going on around the world and kind of teaching them how to advocate for not only themselves but for other people.
I play soccer and lacrosse at Seton. 2 main clubs would be Black Student Union and Vincentian Service Club with them.
So as you can tell, these women are incredibly busy, but also really dedicated to making positive change in their community, from leading school-wide initiatives for racial equality to advocating for women's empowerment to now for 4 years supporting those with special needs through their school service club. And this club partners with the Special Olympics, which has become a really big part of these girls' lives.
Or when we were in person in school, we would offer Special Olympics events sometimes during lunch, so the kids would come to our school and anyone could go out and play with the kids with whatever activity it was that they were doing.
It was kind of like just a fun way to get service hours for me at first, but then I started getting into it more. I went to more of the Special Olympics dance parties that we have,
and I think girls really love to do it. It's always a really good time.
It was a fun way to interact with people who don't really get as much love as they should.
Now, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, so many of these fun events, from dance parties to sporting events, they've all been put on hold. But just recently, the club got creative and did their very own virtual dance party over Zoom.
I was definitely a little bit nervous.
It was definitely very different. I was not sure what to expect.
I was really scared to do this virtual dance event where I'm supposed to be standing in front of a camera in my room by myself dancing.
But I think everyone, after the first couple of dances had gone by, everyone was just kind of doing their thing, and it was a lot of fun.
It was cool watching the kids get excited when their favorite song came on.
I even forced my siblings to come in and dance with us, and then that was really fun.
So Kendall, Grace, and Hawa have taken part in so many events to support the special needs community, and they have some really amazing advice for those who are interested in taking part in some Special Olympics events, but maybe nervous that they might say or do the wrong thing.
Be open. I think you just kind of have to go into it thinking, I'm going to treat them how I want to be treated. I'm going to treat them like I would treat anyone else. I'm going to show them the same type of love that I would want to be shown in return.
Just being a listening ear and listening to their interests is great, because sometimes people don't really listen to them.
Also just kind of relax, because they're regular people. They listen to the same types of music. They do the same types of dances. They talk about the same things. So it really feels like just hanging out with your friends and just having fun.
These women have done some incredible work, and they share why they're so motivated to continue to support this community.
People with disabilities, they're often looked at as other. People don't really care about them as much as they should. And it's important to take the time out of your day to try to make somebody else's day and just make them feel better about themselves.
It's always like it's looked at as an us and them type of thing. But when we hold these events like the dance parties or the track meets, it's just us together listening to music, eating hot dogs. And I think it's important to have these events where it's just all of us just having fun. And it doesn't matter how you learn, what you're able to do.
In our society, oftentimes people with special needs are looked down on. And so it is just always important to show love to those who need it. It's very important that, you take what privilege you have, you take what you're able to give, and you give it to those who need it. And so that's why I think it's important to do this.
Thank you so much to Grace, Hawa, and Kendall for sharing your stories and continuing to do this amazing work. For WCAC in the community, I'm Megan O'Keefe. See you next time.
Awesome job, Megan, Grace, Hawa, everybody over at Seton. Unbelievable work.
And Kendall, don't forget, man.
Kendall, yeah,
let's go.
That's right.
That was amazing, man. I'm so happy. It makes me feel so good watching it. We lost track of everything we're supposed to be doing. Everyone's sitting here watching. How good is that?
Yeah, it's, we're supposed to be the older ones here, but I've now, after 2 of her segments, learned more from these kids. And, this is going to make them grow and be so much more successful, not just even in sports and all that, but in anything that they do. It's an experience, and that they're doing it not just for them, but for themselves and the people that they're bringing into the fold. It's just it's in the community. I mean, it's making the community better, and that's why, great job, Megan. Great job, girls. It was awesome to see.
Road runners leading from in front this week, making everything around them better. Awesome job. And we appreciate all the good work going out there in Bladensburg and all the fine folks. I know us texting Katie before the show, making sure she was tuned in. I think she's definitely very responsible, along with so many faculty and staff over at Seton for programs like that. And then, of course, as every great coach or teacher would say, the kids, put in the time, and then the kids make it work. So amazing job. Hats off. Tip of the hat. We look forward to bringing amazing segments like that to you on a weekly basis. I want to say thank you again to our guest this week, Carroll Holmes, who is just an amazing individual to make sure people get a chance to see and hear. He is still getting it done, for us, which is just, what else can you say about a man who's dedicated his life to this community? I want to say thank you to MMD. And thank you to Luke and Vic. Thanks to these guys. We'll be back next Tuesday night.
I'm saying this before you leave.
Please.
What's your Mount Rushmore look like in your conference? Because the man we
please.
had on tonight, Carroll Holmes, he's on it. And they're going to need a new mountain for these young guys with Steve Turner and Mike Jones and Glenn Farrella coming up. But 3,000 victories, 143 years in the community, and 40 WCAC titles. Right at 3,000 victories, 143 years of inspiring the youth. That's Morgan Wooten, Joe Gallagher, Dick Myers, and Carroll Holmes, who we believe is the Mount Rushmore of
I don't know anybody who'd be like, I deserve to be on that.
Right.
No one's kicking any of those guys off.
That is
Some
an awesome
young guys are
mount
going to be thinking about it, but I don't think there's another conference out there that wants to mess with that.
That mount can stay there. There could be other mountains with other names, and maybe not be as high, because the guys that did it first are always going to be the best.
We're always good. They reign supreme on that mountain range. He's Kevin Ricca.
That's me.
I'm looking at the screen and going this way.
Listen,
Kevin Ricca.
all that matters is Carroll Holmes. Thank you, Coach. What a great guest to have once again.
Coach Holmes, really appreciate it. Carroll community, really appreciate it. And the entire WCAC community. Appreciate you being here. Get the word out. Come back next Tuesday.
On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. Hit that subscribe button. It'll help us out. We really appreciate it. It's free. And we get a chance to see shows like this on a weekly basis throughout the year, and you'll get a chance to see some live sports here soon as well, as we'll be courtside, field side, pitch side, not too much time. Appreciate you guys for giving us a Tuesday night. Until next Tuesday, this was the WCAC Spectacular. See you guys next week.